Hi, this is Melissa, designer at Wonderful Machine. Today we're going to be talking about Tanit Sakakini's website, so let's get started. When we first open Tanit's website, it opens up initially with a pop-up screen, which since I've been to her website before, I actually had to turn off my pop-up blocker so that this could actually appear and display. When the pop-up window initially comes up, it seems to take up your entire screen, which can be a little overwhelming for the users. Oh, and there's also a soundtrack when you first go to Tanit's website, which seems to be a looping, kind of eerie soundtrack. So let's jump into Tanit's website and we'll start with the experience. So it seems you navigate back and forth through her photos with these arrows here. I think it's a little bit distracting and definitely puts this work, which might otherwise have been viewed differently in a very different context than you would view it. It looks like when you click the individual images, they come up in a larger capacity. I think that the thing I'm most attracted to is these large images, since you're really allowed to appreciate the image itself in its full capacity. Whereas when the image is shown like this, first of all, this hover state really isn't showing the image in the best way, and it looks like her project and navigation exists on the far corners of this large screen, which is kind of overwhelming as a user because your focus is in this central area and you don't really know to look for the where down here, the project name in the middle, and this link over here that it seems to be her client login. Now let's go back to the experience and see where it would take us. This is actually her project navigation. Tanit's current website seems to be more of a fine art piece within itself, but makes it very difficult to efficiently browse through her work and be able to see all of the different projects and understand where you're at in the site and where you'd like to go next. This seems to be the About section for Tanit's website. Again, there's also a soundtrack in the back here, and while that sets the tone for the site and is consistent with the website as a conceptual piece, it's distracting for the user. So now that we've viewed the experience, let's jump into the thumbnails. This seems to be a looping video in the background here. And while the looping video is interesting, it's such a short clip that it's a little bit jarring for the user. It's a lot easier to understand where you're at in sequence for the galleries in the thumbnail of the website, but I wish there was a way that you could go through each of the images sequentially without having to click back to the thumbnail view. This navigation seems much more organized than the experience view, and it's much easier to make your way through the site, but again, the same concerns with flipping through the images and having those looping video clips in the background take up so much space and so much attention that it's really distracting from the rest of her work. I would say that moving forward, Tanit should keep those large images that allow her work to shine in a much more beautiful way and allow the navigation and functionality of the website to be secondary in a way that it can complement her images and work with the content she has while not distracting from the content itself. We will be looking forward to seeing Tanit's new web template customization, so we will check back with Tanit soon. So here we are at Tanit's new website. She has a new logo she's working with, which looks great and really speaks to her and her work. When we first come to the site, we see that it has this great, really big full screen image, which I think sets the tone nicely. Tanit is now on a Photofolio's Design X template, which is great in that it has scalable images on desktop and is mobile optimized, so it will look great no matter what size screen or device you're looking at her website on. This new website is more geared towards Tanit's work as both a photographer and offering creative direction as well, so that's why she has these more lyrical gallery titles, which I think work well for her. If we go into one of those categories, we see that there are galleries within each one, so we can browse through images one by one. And we can also look at the thumbnail view and take a quick look at what the gallery has to offer us and choose based on that. I think that what we tried to accomplish in Tanit's new website is this really subtle play of black, light gray, and white, which feels unique and sophisticated without being over the top and difficult to navigate as her previous site was. She has some video work on here as well, which looks great, and I really also like the playful way that we used her images to overlap the N in her name and really line up with that, and it's just one of those subtle quirks that when you notice it lines up, it adds something to the experience of the site without being over the top. So all of her galleries look great, and on the About page we have just a really nice recent photo of Tanit and a bio, which is great if you have a chance to read that. Her contact page is pretty simple, as contact pages can be. So we have pretty much all the necessary information here. We have her phone number, we have a link to email her, which makes it easy for her clients to just click right there and get in touch. And she's also linking to her corporate video work, which is on a separate site, as well as her profile on Wonderful Machine. In addition to Tanit's website, we also customized a blog for her. So let's take a look at that. We selected a responsive Tumblr theme because Tanit wanted to take advantage of the creative community and shareability that Tumblr offers. So right now that is where her blog is living, on Tumblr. I think the blog looks really nice. It has the same kind of feel as the website, playing again off of that gray, white, and black theme that we set up on her website. And I think these hover states really offer another nice way to implement that color palette. And beyond that, the fonts that we've selected and the large type that's really legible all just is very inviting and looks great. So I think it really feels like a nice complement to the rest of Tanit's work and to her website. Both her blog and website, I think, are a major improvement. So that's about it for Tanit, and I think everything is looking pretty great. If you're interested in working with Wonderful Machine on any design projects, from a logo to a website to any of your marketing materials, or if you'd like to work with us on any other consulting project, feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and I will see you next time.